7 million subscribers, one comedy club visit, 48 hours later, death threats, racist attacks, and a business on the edge of collapse. This is how the Kalogeras Sisters went from some of the most beloved sisters of the internet to the center of one of the messiest influencer controversies of 2026. If you've spent any amount of time on TikTok or YouTube, you've probably seen the Kalogeras Sisters without even realizing it. Sunday, Dimitra, and Eliana built their online presence on funny videos, jaw-dropping visuals, and that kind of sisterly chemistry people couldn't help but adore. Their content made viewers laugh, swoon, and click follow almost instantly, turning them into one of the platform's most trusted and beloved siblings. Over time, that turned into a massive following across platforms. They weren't known for controversy and felt safe, familiar, and unproblematic to most viewers, which is why what happened next caught so many people off guard. But before we dive into what happened, here's how open mics work. Comedians put their names down, wait their turn, and hope the timing works out. In comedy, you play by the room, or you get called out. According to club staff and other comedians who were there, the Kalogeras Sisters ignored most of those rules. Which brings us to the real question. How did a night like this spiral so badly that it destroyed the sisters' image, triggered widespread outrage, and led to threats against a business and innocent people? To answer that, we need to go back to one very specific day and look at the events that unfolded. On what seemed like an ordinary Wednesday, January 21st, 2026, the three sisters decided to book a stand-up comedy open mic, purely for content. The show was scheduled for 9 p.m. While staying at a hotel, the three of them, along with Noah, spent time preparing. But when they arrived, things immediately felt off, despite the club manager having contacted the host beforehand to accommodate them. There was confusion about the sisters' filming equipment, and this is where the night started to go wrong. Noah ended up going first, followed by Eliana, Dimitra, and Sunday. The sisters laughed at each other's jokes, but the audience didn't, and the silence between punchlines made the atmosphere increasingly awkward. Throughout all of this, the sisters continued supporting one another, reacting to each joke as if the response from the room hadn't changed. Once Sunday finished, the host applauded them for their efforts and moved the show forward. But a few moments later, another performer took the microphone, and what he said changed the entire atmosphere in the venue.
Are y'all bouncing?
We will, but we really enjoyed your set that you had earlier. It was amazing.
You're in a position to talk a lot of shit.
I'm sorry?
Y'all are in a position to talk a lot of shit. Wow.
If things couldn't get any worse, he confronted them about their performances and told them they wouldn't be coming back to the venue.
That went remotely as good as you think it went, or something?
No, they're talking about your set.
Yeah.
No, I know. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
No, zero. I was being serious.
Okay. I don't know what you were doing up here. I was just mad that the one-liners that you did, you know what I'm saying? You alright? Is everyone alright?
No, you were all that.
What was the impetus for getting up on stage today? Yeah.
We're making a video.
That's it? You don't have any intention of like doing it again?
We'll see.
Let us know when you're coming again.
Sunday, Dimitra, Eliana, and Noah left shortly after. As they walked out, a security guy at the door tried to console them.
Noah, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. You had a good set, bro. I appreciate you guys. That's just how it is.
And once they got outside, Dimitra said that she felt the man had been excessively rude to them.
I would understand if it's like, oh yeah, you're making little jokes, subtle jokes. I don't give a fuck. Make a subtle joke. Don't be an asshole to me.
In their video, the sisters told their parents about what went down that night. According to them, they talked about the sexual jokes made about them, the weird vibe they felt at the venue, and how uncomfortable the experience had been overall.
For 3 hours sitting pity laughing at everyone.
Everybody who came up.
Everyone, not asking. And then at one point it was like 2 hours. No, it was like 2 hours in, and he wouldn't call us up. And we came to the front. We're like, hi, like sorry, like when are we gonna go up? He's like, we don't have time.
It must have been quite the experience.
We were there for 3 hours and then the same amount of time.
After they made all like the sex jokes about us and like you guys like I want to search up on and you guys pop up and you guys are
every time.
You guys are sexy. I don't even want to look at you. Like there were so many jokes about us being hot and us being young looking. Right when they turned to just being rude, that's when I was like, nah.
Here's where the situation escalated beyond social media into something with real-world consequences. After the Kalogeras sisters posted their video, their fan base responded with intensity. Hollywood Comedy Club's Google rating dropped from 4.5 stars to 1.7 overnight. Hundreds of one-star reviews flooded the page, many of them from fans who have never been to the club at all. Along with the review bombing, the club owner and staff began receiving harassment and death threats. These weren't a few angry messages. According to Zhao Ying Summers, the club owner, She was receiving threats hourly. Some messages included racist and sexist language. Others made specific credible threats against her life and her staff. This reaction didn't come from people who were present that night. It came directly from viewers responding to the sisters' version of events in their video, which had already surpassed 2.5 million views. The business itself was in jeopardy. Fake reviews tanked their online reputation. Staff members were afraid to come to work. One comedian of color who appeared in the video but was misidentified became the target of racial slurs and violent threats. And all of this happened in less than 48 hours. Soon after, the owner of the Hollywood Comedy Club, comedian Zhao Ying, released a public statement on Instagram addressing what had happened and what her business was now dealing with. What she described presented a very different version of events than what appeared in the sisters' video. According to Zhao Ying, the sisters didn't sign up but were given special accommodations, filmed other comedians without consent despite being asked to stop, and performed material that made staff uncomfortable. After their video went up, the club was flooded with thousands of racist and sexist one-star reviews and credible death threats, putting the business and staff at risk. Not only that, but she also posted a full statement on the club's page, adding more context. She said they were disruptive throughout the night, and their video misrepresented what happened by exaggerating wait times and making false accusations about the club being male-run and unsafe for women. She explained the club she built as an immigrant and minority-owned space was now being targeted for destruction. Before we go further, it's important to note that we're hearing primarily from the club's perspective here. The Kalogeras Sisters haven't publicly addressed these specific allegations themselves, but their legal team did respond. On top of that, CBS Los Angeles News even made an Instagram story highlighting the sisters' statement about the situation, saying, "The Kalogeras Sisters are aware of the claims being made against them by the Hollywood Comedy Club and Zhao Ying Summers. They dispute those claims and shall be responding through the appropriate channels, and they do not condone bullying, harassment, or threats of any kind." It doesn't stop here. According to the Los Angeles Times, the sisters' lawyer sent a response on January 30th, flatly denying any wrongdoing. Along with that denial came a cease and desist letter demanding Zhao Ying stop posting about the sisters and issue a public apology. The message from their lawyer was clear. They argued the club had escalated the situation first, claiming the Hollywood Comedy Club had essentially picked a fight with the Kalogeras Sisters fan base. According to their position, fans only pushed back to defend the sisters from what they described as hateful comments and threats aimed at them. From their side, none of that fan behavior was something the sisters should be blamed for. When the Los Angeles Times tried to get a direct comment from the sisters themselves, they declined. At this point, the situation had moved beyond online backlash and into legal action. Zhao Ying stated, "Our legal counsel sent a cease and desist to the Kalogeras Sisters on January 24th after threats against me and our staff, along with a coordinated Yelp and Google review bombing campaign. Despite this, they have ignored the notice, mocked the situation, and continued promoting the video, escalating threats and sabotaging our business. We are demanding that the video be taken down, an apology issued, and that their fans be urged to stop the harassment and threats."
Open about my mental struggle with bipolar disorder and my depressive episodes. After my first child, I tried I survived. So, I am...
Not only that, but other comedians, staff members, and even people in the audience who were there that night started posting their own accounts. These accounts presented a different perspective than what appeared in the sisters' edited vlog. One of the most detailed statements came from Barry Montoya, the host of the open mic that night. Barry said, "I'm the host, Barry Montoya. When the Kalogeras Sisters crashed our open mic, they cursed at me, yelling, 'F you,' and 'get us the f*** up,' despite not signing up or having guaranteed stage time. They demanded special treatment and disrupted the entire mic." He continued by saying, "Their actions ruined the open mic. They disrupted comedians' performances and caused multiple comedians to walk out without performing." According to Barry, the sisters made false accusations of harassment against other comedians and staff. After their video went up, the club faced ongoing threats, coordinated negative reviews, racial slurs, and severe harm to the business, putting lives and reputations at risk. But here's where things get interesting, because while Barry's statement sounds pretty damning for the sisters, his original video, now deleted, posted before the written statement and other videos on Hollywood Comedy's Instagram, tells a slightly different story. Barry did a full video breaking down what happened that night, and when you listen to what he says in that video versus what's in his written statement, some things don't quite add up. Let's start with the biggest claim, that they showed up without signing up. Barry admits that the club's manager actually contacted him before all of them went on stage, asking if he could squeeze them in. Throughout the video, Barry repeatedly commented on their appearance and behavior.
If your dreams and aspiration is to be a TikTok influencer and to live like these people, these fish-brained, fish-lipped, overprivileged, a sorry excuse for a human being.
Mocking their names.
I want to say maybe by the second comedian that went up, Demetrius, demon tree, demonic, whatever her incantation, whatever that incantation is called. Let's just call her Delirious.
Criticizing the way they looked, and at one point comparing them to Figueroa models.
Have you guys ever been to Figueroa? Close your eyes and imagine 3 triplets with the same hair. That's basically what they look like. It's like a Figueroa modeling Instagram page.
Implying they were the type often trafficked into work.
I feel like this is what happens when you search teen on Pornhub.
From here, it was confirmed that there were comments about their appearance. The sisters weren't making that up either, though Barry does specifically deny the jack-off comment they mentioned, saying he's never even heard someone say something like that at the club.
Nobody said anything like, I want to jack off to you. I've never even heard somebody say that to anybody in person.
Remember how the club claimed the sisters lied about waiting 3 hours? That they were only there for 1 to 1.5 hours? Barry's own timeline doesn't support that. According to him, they arrived around 9:35 to 9:40 p.m. The 9 p.m. mic ran until 10:20 p.m. The 10 p.m. mic started at 10:30 p.m. and they performed during that slot. If you do the math, that's pretty close to the timeline the sisters described, not the shorter version the club's statement claimed. And perhaps most telling of all, Barry admits he wasn't exactly professional with them either.
Obviously, I was a little frustrated, and you can tell in my voice when I was getting the last sister up, and I was like, all right, so what's your name? Can I get you up here already? Because I'm like running out of time and patience. Bad professionalism on my end, because that slipped out.
He straight up admits to bad professionalism and being frustrated and impatient with them. This isn't just the sisters behaving poorly. Barry's own words show it wasn't one-sided. It means the version of events being pushed by the club and Barry's written statement doesn't fully match what Barry actually said when he broke down the night in detail. The sisters' claims about being told it was overbooked, about the manager pre-arranging their spot, about waiting a long time, and about appearance-based comments all have backing from Barry's own account. Does this mean the sisters are completely innocent? No. Does this mean they didn't exaggerate or leave out context in their vlog? Also no. But it does mean this situation is a lot more complicated than influencers crash open mic and lie about everything for clout. The truth, as usual, is somewhere in the middle, and that's exactly what makes this whole controversy so messy. Other comedians who were there that night also spoke out about what happened.
3 sisters with millions of followers thought they were funny, came to give stand-up a try here, found out they're not funny. They bombed. So instead of learning to do actual comedy, they attack the audience for not laughing at their jokes, and then make up a bunch of lies about the establishment to their millions of followers, resulting in hundreds of fake reviews, threats of violence, and death threats.
Sav, another comic who was there that night, gave a more detailed account. She explained the sisters walked in halfway through someone else's set, didn't check in, and just sat down. This threw the other comics off and created tension in the room. According to Sav, the sisters expected to do well, but when their jokes didn't land, they assumed people were being rude. Sav says, the sisters simply didn't have the experience or structure that goes into crafting jokes, the kind of skill comics spend years building.
Sav, I'm one of the comics that was at the open mic that the Kalogeras Sisters were. I thought the comics were not disrespectful in any capacity. First of all, the girls walked in the middle of someone's set, in the middle of the mic. They hadn't signed up and just sat down. They didn't even check in. And, you know, I think all the comics, like, it kind of took us out of it. And I think that they were anticipating doing really well and were upset that their jokes that each of them had written for each other weren't as well received, and thought that people were being rude, when really, if we're being honest, like, they didn't have joke structure. They didn't have what, like, the actual math equation of what makes a joke work, and like what people do 10,000 hours to like learn the craft of doing comedy.
Besides the other comics who were there that night, the sisters' ex-fans and people criticizing them online also weighed in on the incident. A subreddit post about the backlash captured that sentiment clearly. One netizen wrote, "I think this will definitely humble the sisters and tell them that they can't just have main character syndrome and just walk into an establishment thinking that they own it. They were being obnoxious. They were the loudest and the only ones laughing. They were recording without consent, etc." And as for the fans giving negative reviews to the company, people are going to say they never told their fans to do that, but that doesn't matter. The fans did it because of them. Full stop. The fans are connected to the Kalogeras sisters is because they are all writing them. This wasn't the only platform where the three sisters got a negative reaction. On Sunday's official Instagram page, with almost 5 million followers, she posted their video about the open mic stand-up incident. Fans were divided about the situation, with some showing support while others called them out and expressed support for Zhao Ying Summers. At that point, the situation had grown far beyond YouTube and spilled straight into mainstream news. CBS Los Angeles ran a segment on the controversy, interviewing Zhao Ying Summers and outlining how quickly the fallout escalated after the Kalogeras Sisters' visit to the club. With no public response from the sisters, fans were still waiting to hear whether they would ever address the comedy club situation directly. This whole situation raises bigger questions about influencer responsibility that go way beyond just this one night at a comedy club. When you have 7 million people watching your every move, at what point does sharing your negative experience become irresponsible? The sisters never said, "Go attack this club." They never told their fans to leave fake reviews or send death threats. With 7 million followers, they likely understood what kind of reaction a video like that could trigger. The question is whether they considered the potential consequences when posting while emotions were high. Some argue creators can't control their fans' reactions, that once you post something, it's out of your hands. Others say that when you have a platform this big, you have a duty to de-escalate, not fuel the fire. On February 8th, just 18 days after the comedy club incident, a small but telling change appeared. The Kalogeras sisters updated all their social media bios, revealing what may have been one of the real consequences of the controversy. Their listed business contacts shifted from a major talent agency email to a direct team address. No explanation was given, but the timing as their reputation was collapsing suggests potential fallout with the agency. The club's Google rating is slowly recovering as the platform removes fake reviews, but Zhao Ying says she's still receiving occasional threats, and the legal situation remains ongoing. According to social media discussions and posts from other comedians, the sisters may be facing bans from performing at several comedy venues in the Hollywood area, though this hasn't been officially confirmed by the clubs themselves. But Zhao Ying wasn't staying quiet. On February 16th, 3 weeks after the incident, she took the stage at her own comedy club and addressed the controversy head-on the way comedians do through comedy. In a set that's since gone viral, she didn't hold back. She joked about the death threats, telling the audience that fans told her to kill yourself, but she responded, "I'm not gonna myself anymore. I'm famous now." She talked about her TikTok being hacked and changed to Jeffrey Epstein, joking that whoever did it was manifesting her 2026 properties. And she went after the sisters, directly making jokes about their performance, calling them out for not signing up and filming without consent, and addressing the cease and desist letters. Some of the material was harsh enough that even some of her supporters felt she'd crossed lines. But one thing was clear, she wasn't apologizing and she wasn't backing down. What began as a single wave of online criticism quickly spiraled into something much bigger, confronting the reality that influence carries weight, whether you intend it or not. So here's the big question. Should creators be held accountable for how their audience reacts? Could the sisters have done more to steer the situation responsibly? Drop your thoughts below. Thanks for watching.